If you haven't heard by now, Israel has killed 15 aid workers in Gaza. They have not denied the killings. They are claiming that 9 of the 15 workers were Hamas militants, although that seems very unlikely given the details we do know. The fact that all of the aid workers were found still in their uniforms and they were driving in clearly marked trucks, although that has never stopped Israel before. Why should it stop them now? I will be looking at this article from The Guardian, but there is another one from the New York Times and another one from UN News that I've also looked at, and I will try to remember to link all of those down below so that you can look at the details of this attack yourself. And when I say attack, I do mean attack, because as far as I'm concerned, this was just another attack on the aid system in Gaza in order to hinder any aid going to the Palestinians at all. If you've been following the genocide in Gaza, you likely don't need me to tell you that Israel did this deliberately. I still wanted to take a moment to go through this article and highlight a few points that I think really drive that point home, that really show that Israel does not accidentally kill aid workers, it does not accidentally kill journalists, it does not accidentally kill Palestinians. The Guardian has also put together a timeline of events of the week, and I would like to quickly walk through them so that we can get an idea of what we are dealing with here. March 23rd, 4:20 a.m. A Red Crescent ambulance on its way to collect people injured by an airstrike in Rafah comes under Israeli fire. 2 paramedics are killed. A survivor is detained and interrogated. A few hours later, a convoy including ambulances, a fire truck, health ministry vehicles, and the UN car is dispatched to recover the bodies of the 2 paramedics. It also comes under fire. While en route to the site, the OSHA team see a woman being shot and a man who is trying to retrieve her also being shot. The woman's body is recovered and put into a UN vehicle. March 27th. They report finding the ambulances, the UN vehicle, and the fire truck crushed and partially buried. March 28th. They find an ambulance and the Red Crescent's fire truck, which it says has been reduced to a pile of scrap metal. March 30th. OSHA officials and Red Crescent workers return to the site and find the bodies of 8 Red Crescent workers, the 5 other civil defense responders, and 1 UN staff member buried in a mass grave. A 9th Red Crescent worker remains unaccounted for. March 31st. Tom Fletcher, the head of OSHA, says the dead were found buried by their wrecked and well-marked vehicles. They were killed by Israeli forces while trying to save lives. We demand answers and justice. However, the IDF claims it fired on the vehicles because they were, quote, advancing suspiciously towards IDF troops without headlights or emergency signals, end quote. The IDF also alleges that Hamas militants were among those killed. However, none were found in the mass graves. April 1st. 2 witnesses say that the bodies recovered from the grave had their hands or feet tied. A Red Crescent official says Israeli soldiers could be heard over a phone line that was open to one of the paramedics at the time of the convoy shooting, ordering restraints to detain apparent survivors from the convoy. April 2nd. A forensic consultant who examined 5 of the bodies says there is evidence of execution-style killing in some cases based on the specific and intentional location of shots taken at close range. April 3rd. Abed, the survivor, tells The Guardian he was detained and beaten and had to watch as one ambulance and rescue vehicle after another approached the scene and came under intense gunfire. He saw the military bulldoze and bury the wreckage, and he saw the missing Red Crescent worker, Assad al-Nasara, alive and in Israeli detention. After hours of interrogation, Abed was eventually released and left to walk home afterwards. So that is the timeline of events that we currently have. And as far as I can tell, the Red Crescent worker is still missing. They have not been returned from Israeli custody, where they were last seen. Other details I wanted to include here was the fact that all of the bodies had multiple gunshot wounds, except for one, which could simply not be determined. Forensic analysis saying one observation is that the bullets were aimed at one person's head, another at their heart, and a third person had been shot 6 or 7 bullets in the torso. In an investigation The Guardian did in February, they found that more than 1,000 medical staff had been killed across Gaza since October 7th, which is ultimately why I wanted to make this video. Because Israel does this on purpose. It deliberately targets aid workers and then it turns around and lies about it. And more people need to be willing to call Israel on its bullshit. So, if anything, I hope that this video, even if it's just a tiny sliver of a fraction, makes it that much harder for Israel to lie about the war crimes it commits in Gaza. If you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. I intend to do my best to continue drawing as much attention as I can to Israel's war crimes and especially the way they lie about them. If you'd like to join me in that endeavor, then like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. If you don't want to do any of those things, it's totally fine. I just ask that you continue to inform people to the best of your ability in your day-to-day life about the genocide Israel is committing in Gaza. Don't be afraid to challenge the narrative Israel has been pushing. It is the very least we can do. I will end the video here. I will see you all in the next one, and Free Palestine.